Uh, Good evening, Yoshino-san.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening. Good evening. So we'll wait another few seconds, Yoshino-san. Few seconds, there will be some people are joining.
Okay.
Good afternoon and wish you a great day. Warmly welcome you all to the Helix Plantations most inspiring learning journey, Helix Plantations digital learning series, even with an expert, session number 15. As you all well aware, we have successfully conducted 14 sessions with Sri Lankan and international eminent speakers on different topics, which we strongly believe that those learnings would have touched and sense on your intellectual intelligence and life learning journey. All these online sessions are now on your YouTube channel, which have unexpected numbers of views and subscribes. Today, even with an expert, session number 15, on the topic of managing your people, learning from 30 key points from Toyota way of management. Today, we have advanced the session time in order to match with the time difference of Sri Lanka and Japan. As you all know very well, since Japan is 3.5 hours ahead of Sri Lanka, it is now good evening to Japan. Toyota way of management. Toyota is a brand that embodies production precision driven by meticulous management. Synonymous with excellence, international reputation is undoubtedly the rest of a workforce that is engaged, committed, and valued. But how does Toyota achieve this? The answer is through strong and transparent leadership that values all stakeholders at every level of the business. The leadership network has been investigating how Toyota handling its resources nurtures a thriving workforce committed to the culture of excellence. The philosophy, Toyota way of management, explores in more detail the key concept of Hoshin Kanri, a philosophy which places strong leadership at the heart of a business, inspiring the workforce from senior management to the shop floor. Examining the different stages of Toyota's sustainable lean iceberg reveals what keeps people motivated and engaged, enabling the business to thrive and grow. Toyota's sustainable lean iceberg, it is an image of an iceberg in the sea with visible attributes above the water level, such as tools, technology, technique, and processes, and sitting invisibly below the water, such as strategy and alignment, leadership, behavior, and engagement. Simply, Toyota way of management, explaining that the larger invisible underwater mass supports the visible output, which describes how Toyota handling its resources, which has used the model to build an environment for sustainable lean thinking by placing true value on its people, instilling their work with deep meaning and inspiring them to stay true to the Toyota ethos. Today, our objective is to learn the philosophy behind Toyota way of management and how to develop your people to stay true to our organization's vision, mission, and values. To fulfill this, we have invited the best personality to address this topic, who is the most recognized leader for people development strategy in Toyota way of management and eminent international speaker on learning to lead, leading to learn. He's Mr. Isao Yoshino, one of the most recognized Toyota leader who has passion of teaching secrets of Toyota way of management. We as the Helix Plantations team really fortunate enough to listen to this personality with over 4 decades of uninterrupted continuous service at world's most recognized automobile manufacturer, Toyota Japan. Today, we are going to listen to his story on a lifetime of continuous learning from his invaluable experiences. Even though most of the Sri Lankan professionals who have undergone AOTS Japan training programs through Justica definitely would have met him during his lecture sessions. but this is the first time he is addressing directly to the management team of a Sri Lankan company, maybe first time in this nature in South Asian region. On behalf of our Managing Director, Dr. Roshan Rajadore, Director CEOs, management, and entire team of Helis Plantations, may I warmly welcome Mr. Isao Yoshino, we always call Yoshino-san, to this timely needed discussion on the topic of managing your people, learning from Toyota way of management. Following the protocol, may I introduce him to Helis Plantations team. Mr. Yoshino, he started his career life in 1966, joining to Toyota Motor Corporation Export Division, and he moved from his ladder on the career progression in Toyota Motor Corporation, working with various divisions in Toyota. He has been working in production control division, research division, corporate planning division, international training division, and he was working at San Francisco office, USA, and human resource division in Japan, and marine division of Toyota in Japan, and finally, Toyota Motor Sales USA Incorporation. So after that, from 1966 to 2007, after that, he was working as a consultant. And at the moment, he's the professor at Montreal Business School, Canada. And also he's the professor and lecturer at Nagoya Gakuin University. He's a graduate from Osaka University, Osaka, on foreign studies. With that brief introduction, I would like to warmly welcome Mr. Yoshino to today's session, today's discussion. And on behalf of all at Helis Plantations, we would like to warmly welcome you, sir. And Mr. Yoshino, good evening, and everyone. We would like to warmly welcome you to the session. Over to you, Mr. Yoshino.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me now?
Yes, Mr. Yoshino, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, actually, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to talk with the people in Sri Lanka. And today I'm going to talk about how to develop people at Toyota. So this is, of course, part of Toyota, Toyota's culture, but mostly I'm focusing on the people side, not on the manufacturing side or not skill or techniques, but people are most important thing. And I have prepared about 30 pages of a PowerPoint. So I'll go through a little bit quickly, and I'm going to share what the people are doing to the people working together. And so title is how to develop people Toyota way. So this is Toyota style. So I am not suggesting you to do exactly the same thing as Toyota people do. However, I would like you to know what are the very important concepts behind what we do. And so if you have any questions after this, during my session, anytime, just let me know. Okay. Can you turn on the page, page 3?
Mr. Yoshino, I will share the presentation on behalf of you.
Okay.
Can you see this slide there, Mr.
Yeah,
okay,
I can.
Okay, right.
Everybody can see this one too, right?
Yes, I hope that everybody can.
Yes, well, actually, just show me the table of next page 2, very quickly. This is about 35 pages, but actually this is 2 groups, actually 2 categories. One is number 1, set the goal and action plans, help subordinate to attain the goal. This is number 1. So this is about Hoshin Kandi. And second one is 2 is develop your own subordinate. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4 different categories. So actually, I'm going to talk a little bit about 2 things. One is Hoshin Kandi concept. Then, based on the Hoshin Kandi, how we are developing people in our workplace. And page 3, please. Actually, one of the most important thing is particularly for the managers like you are, and you have so many people working for you. So as a group, you have to set the goal and action plans. And that is what you need to maybe at the beginning of the year. And I don't know how many divisions in your organization you're doing Hoshin Kandi, but If you are kind of familiar with this, maybe you will understand this. And most important thing for the manager is to establish vision and goal. And vision is sometimes not too concrete, but vision is the direction that you are going to. And goal is sometimes you have to be very, sure and clear to understand. Anyway, set the goal based on the vision, and then bring everybody's effort together into one direction. That is a very important role for managers. If you have so many people working for you, then you have to know each party of your group, what they're thinking, what they're doing every day, and what they would like to do. And so this is so important. Set the goal and help them to attain the goal. Because if you are a manager, you are not working on each items. It's the people working for you, they are doing. So you have to manage the people, you have to take care of them to attain the goal. Next page, please. And page 4 means, actually, this is a delegate, a task subordinates. Again, as I said, you are the leader, you are the managers. So you're not doing your job, but you have to ask your people to set the goal and then work on that. And at a certain timing, you get together and everybody get together and check whether everything is going smooth or not. If you have any problems you are facing, then you have to work together to solve the problem. So that's why each time you have to regular check timing. I put it down, second one. Regular check timing is so important. Within Toyota, we do that actually every month. But big checking process is every 3 months or 6 months, because in this world things are going so quickly, things are changing so quickly. So you have to check at a certain time, maybe 3 months. Then so many things happen in 3 months. So in 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, and 12 months, which is yearly. So delegate the task, and the most important thing that you have to check a certain timing and see what they are doing. What if they are struggling, you have to give them help. That is your responsibility. That's so important that you have to know what your people are working. That is one of the key things that we believe most important things for the managers are taking care of the people and watching the people. Next page, please. And page 5, as I mentioned, okay. Page 7, did I escape? 4, okay. Can you show us a bit? Okay. All right, this is page 7. Okay. When you're working as a manager, in most cases, so many things better than your subordinate. So sometimes, when you assign them that how to solve the problem, how to do the job. However, the people who do the job is not you. The people working for you with less experiences, younger, and not, sometimes it's not so mature as you are. So sometimes you tell them what to do. However, as a manager at Toyota, we just assign the people and listen to them whether they can handle that or not. And so always we try to listen to them. Maybe 80% of your time and energy, you have to listen to your people and tell them what to do. You just, don't do that so often. So we call it just listen to your people 80% of your time, 80% of your energy. And just tell them, speak less, only 20%. It's 20 or 30, doesn't matter. But you have to listen to them, because if you have 10 people working for you, then they have 10 different character, different way of thinking, different background. So you have to know, what is their background and how they can accomplish the task. If they need some help, you have to jump in and work together or help them, give some advice. So that is most important thing of managers at Toyota. Next page, please. And page 8, please. Okay, so this is another thing, sometimes, if you're assigned a task, for example, at first you think, okay, this is not too difficult, this is easy to do. However, when you start working, then you run into some troubles, some big walls that you cannot go further. So that happens all the time. So in that case, as I mentioned, the leaders are always ready to listen to them, whether they need some help or they are doing things good. And if they need someone, you have to provide them help. And also, you have to create the ambience, create the atmosphere in your own workplace that if your subordinates have some problem, need some help from you, then you have to create an environment that you are always ready to listen, always ready to help them. And so, in some of a company in Japan, the boss is very strong-minded, also tells them what to do. If they make some mistakes, then just tell them and blame them something. Then what happens? The people who make some problems, make some mistakes, they don't come to you, come to the bosses to tell them, because they're going to be blamed. So it's so important that you have to create a work environment where people are ready to come up to you with bad news. Particularly, we call it with Toyota bad news first, because if you only want to hear good news, then people just don't want to bring it up to you because you're gonna blame them. But within Toyota, whenever we make mistakes, boss is always ready to, okay, it's natural. We are human beings, we make mistakes. Don't worry about making mistakes, bring it up and let's help together. That's so important. And so, so empathy, that means, you have to tell them, okay, you make mistakes, it's okay, because when I was younger at your position, I make so many mistakes, maybe more mistakes than you do. So don't worry about it. So make mistakes, then you can learn something out of that. So, so that's the way we talk to our people. Actually, I was working a couple of days ago. I was working on some of the assignment, not some of the requests about from Canada, and I wrote down all my working experience, mostly failure, how I learned some lesson out of my failure, and it's about 12 pages. But because I can learn, the people audience can learn some of the things that I make, the mistakes I make. So don't blame your people for making mistakes. Always people make mistakes. You did make mistakes when you were in that position. And so empathy, and tell them that I'm ready to help you out. That's so important at Toyota. And 90% of the managers at Toyota are like that. Maybe 10%, I don't know, it's a little bit strong-minded, but 90% is amazing percentage at Toyota. No other company, I believe, in Japan are like that. Next page, please. And this one is, as I already mentioned, good news or bad news. Again, in some of the companies, bosses always, tell them, okay, you have to be successful. You have to make a success. And if they make mistakes, why did you do that? See, you always make mistakes. Just go back and do something. Then people don't come to you with some problem because they get scared. So that's like I said, bad news first is a very, very important value at Toyota. So always within Toyota, as I said, we make mistakes. So don't worry, just bring me bad news first. And then when you make mistakes, then you have to bring me first before it's too late, because you can take some actions. If you bring it back 2 months later, then it's too late. So you have to bring there, because if you bring it back very early stage, then you can find out the root cause of the problem. That's so important. Next page, please. And page 10, okay, this shows, overall optimizations and partial optimization. Because as you see, this is a process. See, plan and design. This is the first timing that you do something. Then R&D and production and sales, customer. This is a process, very basic process of how car is manufactured, designed and manufactured, and sales and customers. So if you are pretty good in, for example, production is pretty good, but if the sales is bad, then you cannot, your company does not make money, but whatever. So these are all related with each other. So all the people working in each of the group, they have to know what other division, what other people in other divisions are working there, what kind of problem they are facing. If there is any space that we can help them out, then we have to. So we call it horizontal communication, horizontal help. That is so important. And within Toyota, it was in 1960s, long time ago. When you start learning all these key items, actually lean thinking, we did not call lean thinking, but we learned so many things from the Dr. Deming and his group in the 50s, 1950s and 60s. At that time, Toyota people learned, one of the many companies, manufacturers in Japan who learned so many great lessons from those Dr. Deming's team. And one of the comments that came from the Deming team to Toyota is that, okay, Toyota guys, you are doing pretty good, except I see some of the working together with other department is a little bit missing. So you should spend more time and more energy working together with other departments so that overall optimization can be available, can be attained. So that is one of the comments actually in the late 50s and 60s. So from that moment, Toyota, particularly top management, always keeps saying that you guys, you have to work together. The higher you go, if you're general manager of the big team, the general manager always needs to think about how your people are doing with other departments. If they need some help from me, I have to talk to the big guys from other departments and work together to help them out. And so communicating horizontally, working together horizontally is so important. That is one of the strengths of Toyota, working together with other departments. Overall optimization, not only specific division is great, but other division is no good. That's not no good. So this is one of the key concepts of Toyota. Next page, please. And okay, this is maybe this is too detailed. However, as I mentioned, if you're big boss, then so many people working for you, but each people are so different from each other. They're different character, different value, different a strong point and the future target, and different mentality. Everybody has a different attitude, different thing. So you have to know, if you have, for example, 20 people working for you, you have to know each of the 20%, what is their strong point, what their weak point. If there is a weak point and you can help them out, then you step forward and help them out. If they're strong, if you find out their strengths, then you have to help them to make it much stronger. But in order to find it, this is a kind of chart. You don't have to copy it, but this is very simple because dark side is already covered. So you just roughly, you just figure out for each people, this area he's good, this area he's not good, and this area she needs more help. This area she established a very good result. So you have to analyze your subordinates capability or experience And you have to do that in your own mindset and note whatever. So this is one of the key important role for managers. Next page, please. Okay, this one is again, as I mentioned, if we make mistakes, your people make mistakes. So you know, if they are ready to bring it up to you, then that's great, because they don't have to worry about you, because they know that you don't blame them first. You just try to help you out. So just when they come, boss, I make mistakes and we have to solve this problem. I don't know how to do that. Then in many cases, you have more experience on your work. So you know the answer, but your subordinate doesn't. Then you are tempted to give them some hint. Okay, I've been through that before. How come just how about doing this? Because I've been successful. I did it. It was okay. So why don't you do that? It may help your people to attain the goal, to just solve the problem. But he does not learn. Actually, idea comes from you. Idea does not come his idea or her brain. So even though you have the answer, you have to be patient. Don't tell them the answer. Let them think about it. And you have to help them. You have to bring the support to help them think a little bit deeper. So don't give them the answer. That's why I keep saying that bosses always should be very, very patient. That's one of the ways to develop your people. You have to tell them that, assign something and watch them how to accomplish, and then if they need some help, you have to jump in, help them. That is how we Toyota people try to develop the subordinate. Think deeper. Next page, please. And this one is another thing that we so much value, because as you see on this, the guy is a general manager on top of this division. Then if you are you're maybe managers or general manager position, but if when you join your company, what you are down there at the beginning, you don't know so much. But whenever you do something at Toyota, we always tell the younger people and newcomer, okay, you guys, you're new. However, when you assign some task and you're working on always try to view things from the two rank higher people's viewpoint. What does that mean? Because you need to know what general manager is thinking, what general manager would like to receive from you. So you have to figure out that and what managers are thinking, because they have some idea. So don't we've been training. Okay, Yoshino, just this is your assignment, but you have to think a little bit deeper. Why big boss has assigned this to you? And so always we are asked two rank. Always think about two rank higher the people, what they are thinking. And so that is the kind of good training. 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years later, then what you have learned for the two rank higher position way of thinking will greatly help you. Next page, please. This one is okay. This is a priority thing, because people are busy, you're busy. So if you have 10 or 15 items you have to finish 1 week or a couple of days, you cannot accomplish everything. So you have to, this is very simple. You have to prioritize what is the most important thing, very urgent thing. And then you have to prioritize, then you tackle the most important thing. And the busier you are, the more important you have to do prioritize things. And this is very simple, but very simple to say, but very difficult to do that. So this is one of the things that big bosses always think about your people. When you assign them, give them so many items together, then they just, they get drowned. So you have to prioritize and assign them. Okay, this is the first priority thing. Second, this is second priority thing. Something like that. That is that is how you can develop your people. Next page, please. Then, okay, the similar concept, move your people, by the precision of motivation. Sometimes, if you are the higher position, then you have more authority. And so if you are the higher position, more authority, and you make some decisions, but your subordinate cannot make decisions because of the rank. So sometimes, bosses always, try to motivate them. And so the attitude, this is the attitude of bosses. And I've been through these type of experience of very, very often when I was younger. And I used to work for many times. I used to work for very, very nice, good bosses. But sometimes I used to work for a terrible boss. He is always using his authority, so he does not listen to me. He tells me how to do that because he has been that so many times. Yoshino, just you have to do it this way because this is what I have done. In the past it was successful. Why don't you do this? This you won't fail. But it did not give me a chance to use my creativity. So when you deal with people, always motivate them. And because the people have some emotion. So if they are encouraged, then they do a better job. If they are discouraged, then they just do that. It's okay. Just so bosses that does not listen to me. So then they don't put the big energy into the job they are doing. So motivation is so important. Next page, please. Okay, this one is, we call it respect. But respect is not some, as I mentioned here, respect, show respect. Within Toyota, sometimes we start saying that in around 2000, show respect, the sense of show respect is missing lately. That's what the big guys started thinking in around 2000. And 2001, Toyota Way 2001, that includes a small note to all the employees. Show respect, but show respect is not, to be nice to anybody or to just, to be nice and then to be sweet to your people. It's not. Very simple thing is that show respect is that you have to understand each people working for you are different. So you have to understand it. And also your role is to help them out, not to tell them what to do. So this is not the military. So this is a company, and each people have their ambition, everything. So you have to know what this guy would like to do. Then strong point, weak point, you have to watch very carefully and in what way, how you can help them out. So okay, show respect means just try to, you have to understand what kind of character each people working for you. Very simple. And so I'm very happy to know that 2001, and it was about 20 years later, and actually 40 years later, after Dr. Damon came in, see, in the 60s. And in the 80s, 20 years later, we have a big event of the new training program for higher rank senior manager. It was about 1980. Then 20 years later, 2001, show respect. So each 20 years, the top management believes that, okay, our general manager, senior managers level are now slowing down, and the less, pay less attention to the people, they are wondering. So we have to do something. So each 20 years, the 2001 Toyota Way, now this is 2021. This is 2022 next year. So probably, very probably, next year, Toyota top management will announce something different we call it to tighten the belt, because our belt is now getting loose. And so this is how Toyota people would like to help us, help ourselves to come back to the very basic concept. And the next page, please. Okay, maybe I don't have to go through so detail, but you are familiar with 5 S's. 5 S's, it's S start with Japanese, seiji, seiton, seiso, seiketsu, shisuke, all these words, these concepts start with S's. So some Americans, found out all those English words starting with S. But anyway, this is very simple, too simple. However, being simple is very, very important because everybody can understand. Don't misunderstand it. So this is with each, even now, these 5 S's, particularly first two S series, sorting out, and after you sorting out what is important and less important, then you sort out one of the important things, then you set it in the right order. That is what we do every day. And then another 3 S's. Anyway, this is still very simple, too simple. However, this is one of the very key concepts from top management to the shop floor workers. So this is another thing that makes Toyota different from other companies. The next page, please. Another thing, a couple of things that you are already familiar, but I don't have to go through quickly, but deeply. But 5 whys. I believe you are already familiar. This is one of the examples what the Taichi Ono, who is a very, very important guy, Toyota production system. When machine stops working, then you have to dig down. What is the key problem? What is the root cause of the problem? You have to ask 5 times over and over again, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times, until you reach the core problem. This is one example. I believe you're already familiar with. So no need to stick to 5. Sometimes 4, sometimes 7 or 8. And it's up to the situation. You have to reach the root cause. And next page, please. Okay, I believe this is also, you must be familiar. Go-to Gemba is a Japanese. Gemba is actually police work. Gemba is the place where the crime happens. When somebody kills on the street, then the street on the corner where somebody gets killed is Gemba. So we call it. Then within Toyota just start calling, okay, go to Gemba means, if something happens, some problem happens, you receive some document with a failure document, then instead of you make some decision, you have to go to the Gemba, go to the place when some people make some problem happens, go to Gemba and see what have happened. With you look at it with your own eyes. Then you make some decision, or you just start working on how to solve the problem. Don't judge, don't make some decision based on the document which is brought to your desk in front of you. Don't judge anything. Just go there. So go to Gemba means always go to the place where things happen. But see that today is another arrange this session. This is for me a go to Gemba type of concept. Even though I don't talk with you face to face, but I talk to you. Maybe you're gonna ask some question to me. This is go to Gemba because we talk closer, we communicate, and facial expression and all the things. We try our best to know each other. So this is go to Gemba concept is broader meaning. Next page, please. Okay, this maybe I'm going to skip this because you know that Toyota used to be called Toyota, but after that, a certain timing, Toyota changed to Toyota. When you write Japanese writing, then it requires 10 strokes in Japanese writing, but 10 is full. So at certain timing, top management decided, okay, 10 is full. People get too happy with that. So 10 is full. We reached the goal already. We don't have to work harder. So intentionally, they took out 2 dots, which makes 8, not 10. So 8 means, oh, we have to work 2 notches to reach the goal. So we are not ready yet. We are not reached the goal yet. So we have to work harder. We have to do, we have to work harder and think about deeper. So this is the concept behind the name change. Actually, this is my own story. I don't know whether this is a formal story, but I like this story because that tells us Toyota people always try to think that we are not ready yet, we are not reached the goal yet. So still, we have to work harder. So that is a very, very, decent, very important attitude. Next page, please. This is actually when when we talk about Hoshinkan, we have to set the goal, and this is one example. A long time ago, 1960s, long time ago, when Shinkansen bullet train was developed. At the time, very short period of time, the top management, the Japanese government decided, oh, we need to that very high speed of train. We call it bullet train project. But timing is at the time. When was it? 1959. But 1964, we're gonna have a Tokyo Olympic game. We only have 5 years. Within 5 years, government, asked ask all the big organizations that you have to develop this Shinkansen bullet train and make it available in the 1964 in October. So only 5 years. So it's seemingly impossible. So this is one of the example of that need. If there is a need, you cannot discuss whether we can do that, we cannot do that. No, we don't have to. No, we cannot, because the target is already set. Olympic Games, we have to have that Shinkansen bullet train. You cannot discuss about it. This is a goal. So we have to attain this. So this is a very extreme example of the almost seemingly impossible target. So this is one example. I am not suggesting to set this seemingly impossible target, but this requires a lot of new idea, new way of thinking, and actually it became possible. And so many years, Shinkansen has never big. There's some accident, but nobody got killed on the train or rail, off the rail or whatever. So very, very high tech, and that was possible because people work extremely hard and with a not conventional way of thinking, but a totally different new idea. Next page, please. Okay, this one, I don't know whether you're familiar with this chart, but it's, let me go through very quickly. This chart on the right-hand side, the process. So the lower the process means bottom process is no good. Higher process is very good process. On the right-hand side, horizontal, on the left-hand side, the result is bad. Then right-hand side result is good. Look at the upper part, triangle plus on the left upper. That means, the process is good. However, for some reason, you don't get a good result. But that is okay. So that means triangle is okay, but plus means positive. Positive, so-so. Because reason is, if the process is good, sooner or later, you will get a good result. How about this on the right bottom? Triangle minus, that is negative, so-so. Because, for example, I don't know whether you have the lottery. Lottery means that at the end of the year, just like this timing of the year, the government office just issues some tickets, lottery. So if you go to the lottery shop and buy maybe 20 tickets, lotteries, if you're really, really super lucky, you get 1 million or $2 million or whatever, 2 million yen or more than that. but you don't work harder. Only thing you have to do is go to the lottery shop and buy it. You don't work harder. So if you have very, very good luck, if you have a good luck, then you can make money, but it happens only one time. It does not happen twice in your life. So that is not so good. So that tells us that lesson is the process. Always we have to watch whether the process to attain the goal is good or bad. That is more important. That's why we don't focus too much on the result. Result will come up sooner or later as with good result, as long as we take some good processes. This is so important. So that's why when we make mistakes, but bosses always ask, okay, you failed something, okay, don't worry about it, but we need to find out what is the cause of the problem, cause of the failure you made. What kind of process you went through, what kind of steps you went through, what kind of tools, what kind of process of thinking, what kind of approaches did you do that? This is we call it process. So process is so important. Every time we make mistakes, then people sit down, get together, sit down, discuss with processes. So we don't care about, not care about, we don't accuse anybody. So sometimes the guy who makes mistakes, very, very feel embarrassed because, oh, I make mistakes. So people may start blaming me, but nothing happens because doesn't matter who makes the mistakes. If the process is bad, then anybody can make the same mistakes. So this is a very important concept behind this chart. Next page, please. And this is an old story about 2014, but Marian Keller is she's a very analyst, the auto analyst, and he said she was, this is not my word, but she said General Motors in those American command, well, she's talking about General Motors. General Motors has not invested root cause analysis, which Toyota paid a lot of attention. That means, look at this tree. The tree has long, root down there, but it's invisible. So people don't pay much attention. Okay, then cut it out. But if you cut it out, still the root is down there. 2 months, 3 months later, another tree will come up. So that is what Marian Keller said. And so a symptom, don't pay much attention to the symptom, but you have to take close look at the root cause. Otherwise, same problem, same mistakes will happen. Next page, please. Okay, this one is problem solving. Okay, it's just talking about problem solving. As you see, problem solving. See, as is current condition, current status, quality, whatever. And then, but the target is to be. So the situation is down low still, but you want to be up there on the small board to up there. So there is a gap. So this is a concept. And so problem saying, this is what you need to, as a big boss, to share with your people. See, if you have some issues, then you have to share it with your people. Okay, as is. Okay, this is a place where we are placed right now. This is situation, we are here lower. You guys understand that, I understand, you guys understand that. Then what is our goal is? And you have to show both where you are right now, then another thing, where you want to be as a group. Share it with your people, and everybody should be on the same page. So to see the gap, then that is a very, very important step to take. Then your people will work harder to find out how we can develop our countermeasures to reach from as is to be. So this is very simple, but this is what we Toyota people do. Always try to analyze where we are now, but where we want to be. And it should be very visible, numbers and situation and so that everybody can be on the same page. Next page, please. Actually, this is if you try to develop, try to help them, help your subordinate, or try to develop your subordinate, then you have to know your people's strengths, strong point. But before you do that, you step forward. Why don't you, once again, I think you went through the million times already, but why don't, my suggestion is, actually that is what I am doing too, but why don't yourself as a big boss, what is your role? What is your strengths? Not role, but strengths. In what area you are pretty good? You have to analyze your own strong point. This is very good, good process to take, because probably when you climb up the ladder of your organization, maybe you have done this before, but I would like to suggest you, I'm suggesting myself, what is your strong area? There are so many areas. Why I'm suggesting this, because when you try to suggest or try to help your subordinate, then once you analyze your own strengths and weakness or whatever, then it's easier for you to come up with a better idea to advise your subordinate. So first, you have to know yourself. Sooner or later, your subordinate might ask you, boss, thank you very much for your good advice, but by the way, what is your strong point, by the way? They may ask, maybe 20% or 30% of people may ask, oh, I know you are great, but tell me, what is your strong point? I would like to follow that. So this is very, very important. The reason why I keep saying that, because I've been teaching my university until March this year, and I always try to do this, not exactly like this, but always share my strong point and weak point with my students, because I'd like them, my students will do the similar thing. But if I keep telling them, okay, you do this, but you have to share with what you have done, analyze, then they will say, oh, my teacher has already analyzed his strong point and weak point already. So maybe this study might be helpful for me to do that myself as well. So you do first, then show the good example, share it with your people. That is a very strong, very, very strong advice, very powerful. Next page, please. Okay, this one is, again, after you have done this, then you step forward to discuss with the strong point, weak point of your subordinate, because you have done with yourself already. So your comment is going to be very, very powerful, because you just have done that yourself. And so sometimes you have to list about 3 strengths. Doesn't matter 4, 5, but three is enough. And then, and if they are struggling, then you can help them out, because you went through that. And through those communication, talking with them, and then they will be very happy. Actually, this morning I had a talk with my students, my ex-student, but she's now studying in the United States, in the outskirts of New York City, and in the countryside. And I talk to her every 2 months. I talk to her, and she's now struggling, and so I just analyze my strong point and analyze her strong point and weak point as well. So this we spent very, very interesting 2 hours this morning. So that is what I'm still doing. And so you guys are a lot younger and a lot of more energy. So I really would like to help you out, advise you to do that, work together. You have to create the feeling of togetherness. And so boss is now coming down to our level and work together to help me out. Next page, please. Okay, this one is, yeah, the same thing. As you see, I think you are familiar with this Maslow's hierarchy of needs. See, every people, human being would like to be recognized. On the top one, what is this? Self-actualization. Everybody wants to be recognized. Recognition is so important by others, by your bosses. So that is so important. In order to show your recognition to your people, then you have to sit down and discuss. You have to tell them, okay, this is a very good point of view and I like it, but this is a kind of weak point, or this is a kind of, you want to improve it. So you come down to the level of the people and share it with them. So you have, then in order to do that, you have to analyze the strengths of your or weak point of your subordinates. Otherwise, your comment is very vague. So this is so important. You have to analyze the strong point or weak point of your subordinates. Again, in order to make it happen, you have to again remember what you have done when you're younger, and if you have experience like that, easier for you, more efficient for you to make some advices. Next page, please. Well, this again, listen to the subordinates excuse. Of course, if you make mistakes, people just want to give some excuses. Of course, it's a human being. But if you react them with blaming them, yelling out, and then blaming, then he or she will not come back to you again. So just hold it. And so you have to be patient. And instead of telling them, you stupid, you make mistakes, how many times you make mistakes, don't do that. No, you cannot accomplish anything. Let them know that what are the things what was missing. So you have to be on the same level as your subordinate. Then people will sense it. Oh, my boss wants to be on the same level as me. It's so important. And next page is, I already shared this. Okay. This one is a subordinate. Same thing. Telling them their weak point first, or scolding or reprimand. That is, you attempt to do that because you are not happy. But if you're unhappy to hear bad news, within Toyota, we feel happy because I can help them out to make a better job. They bring out bad news so that I can play my role. So that is so much totally opposite. And so reprimanding is not blaming. You can reprimand your subordinate, but you have to give them the space whether they can learn what was wrong with me. So you have to treat them as a human being, not a small kid. See? So this is so important. Similar concept. The next page is the empathy again. See, empathy is I don't know whether you call it empathy, but it's so important that we know that everybody makes mistakes. I keep saying this one because I don't remember how many mistakes I made in my entire life, but still my boss did not blame me. Of course, they feel so unhappy, but they did not blame me because blaming me does not create anything. So Yoshino, you make mistakes, but what are the learning? And so that is so important. And to make it happen, bad news is welcome. Bad news first. And so that is so important. And next page, well, similar things. Similar. And again, this left guy or the yelling out, right-hand side, yelling out does not bring you anything, but just try to help someone to be on the same page. And if you need to, you go to the game, but together with your subordinate and work together to find a solution. Losing temper is the most terrible thing. So I keep talking about the same thing, but this is so important. And next page, same thing. Objectively, and subjective is different. Same thing. Same thing. So facts, as you see, facts and opinion, facts or assumption. The facts does not change, but opinion or assumption changes depending on the situation. So facts cannot change. Always focusing on the fact. Very simple. That's why, and in order to find the fact, you have to go to the gemba. But if you stay in your office and judge something based on the opinion, based on the assumption, based on the second-hand information. And the next page was similar. Yep, again, I keep already talk about it. Focus on the process. Don't focus on the person, because people make mistakes. We're not perfect. This is very important. Very, very important. Actually, this is one of the best culture of Toyota. I still just communicate with my boss because he's always trying to encourage me. Yoshino, are you doing okay? He's 85, 86, maybe this year, no, next year. Still he keep calling me and so he encourages me. So that's so important. And next page is okay. This one is it's the same thing. And okay, yeah. Listen to your subordinate. Again, the same thing, but always help and develop. And if you help your people and do a better job as a big team, then you will be evaluated higher because you are the leader. So it's so important. And the last page is that sometimes it happens that you have some. Next page, please. You have some people who rebellious, don't listen to you. It happens. And I used to have some guy. Actually, I said that I wrote the 12 pages of my failure process when I was in the United States. And one of the guys who I brought from Japan to California and Florida, and he just rebels, and he just he does not listen to me. So that happens all the time. However, then the guy who rebels is a bad guy. Sometimes he is or she is, but there should be some factors who make him or make her act like that. So it's so important, actually, as I said on the bottom, when they rebel to you, that can be a sign of SOS. SOS means help me. Boss, help me, because I need some help. But I don't want to say I need help, but he or she is yelling out, I need some help, boss. It's a signal to the boss for help. So maybe probably 30% or 40%. So if that is the way it is, then you have to listen to them, sit down. And that is what I was supposed to do when I was in Florida. So anyway, so there are so many ways to make your group, work, do a better job. Most important thing that you have to always, care about your people. And if they are good, then they praise them. If they make mistakes, then you have to accept it and sit down, discuss. So you have to be on the same stage, same level. Even though you are higher, of course, hierarchy, but from mentally, you have to be on the same page and make them feel like, I'm ready to listen to you. Sorry, I spent too much time, but it's if you have any question, please feel free.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dushankar here. I have a small clarification. In your presentation, you said that always welcome for the problems. That says always listen to the problems, something like that. So when we handle large scale of people, when everybody tries to bring the problems, don't you think that they will never try to find the solutions for the problem? So I feel the most important thing is that we should pay the people who can find the solutions, not always the people who bring the problems. So this is a small clarification I have. So if you can clarify your views on this, great.
So is that Anaruda or somebody else? Okay, you're talking
No,
about
yeah, Yoshino-san,
some.
Yoshino-san, there was a problem from one of our manager. Dulshank, you can raise the question again.
Okay. So he's saying that I hopefully understand, but just tell me once again, just what is the core problem you're facing right now? People don't want to share want to come up with a failure or problems to the bosses. Is that what you're talking about?
No, so what I meant is now in your presentation, you said that always welcome for the problems.
Yeah.
Now, we'll see when we are handling the large scale of people. Now, for an example, if you take my SS, I have 600 plus workers and 30 staff. So we'll say each and every person brings a problem. So don't you think that we are not creating the people to find the solutions for the problem?
Well,
So
actually,
my view is if those people also can find the solution for the problem, it's easy for as an industry to move forward.
Well, actually, I still don't understand 100%. But let me talk it this way. When most important thing is when something happens, first reaction, you do what you need to do as a big boss or subordinate. First reaction is that, particularly the people who make some mistakes, they have to find the fact that something happened, something bad happened. That is one thing. Second thing is that what could be the cause of the problem? He or she is not sure, but that's fine. So two things: the fact that some problem, the reason why that problem happened, and third thing is that those subordinates have the courage to bring up to the bosses. And those things should happen on the subordinate side. But on the bosses side, just like I mentioned, bosses should know that people make mistakes. So first, comment you make when you hear about it, don't blame them. And you have to ready to listen to them. So very simple, because if they make mistakes and because they thought they went through the right process, but for some reason they failed. So they don't know how to solve the problem. Of course not. If they knew how to solve the problem, they could have done that. So something happened because they did not know how to solve or how to find the cause of the problem. Because of that, they could not solve the problem. So, don't expect them to bring the bad news and as well as a solution. No, they cannot. And you cannot either, until you sit down, look at all those facts. So you have to go through those important steps. You have to make them feel very, feel comfortable to bring the bad news first. Then you have to advise them, bring me the facts. And then make them feel comfortable to bring up. And it requires a lot of courage for them to come up to you, but you have to make the space more comfortable to make them feel comfortable to bring up bad news to you. But on your side, as a big guy, you don't start blaming them. And sit down and discuss the cause of it. Your attitude is also very, very important. And just like I said, within Toyota, just when terrible things happen, bosses always say that, okay, that happens all the time. Don't worry. And so what is the problem? So the first question is, what is the problem? It's not that, why did you do that? Why you didn't do that? But what is the problem? That's so important. And even though you cannot, they cannot, of course they cannot find a solution, but also you cannot find a solution. That is okay. That is the beginning. Then you bring in another staff or bring another guys or for some help from others, and everybody get together and find a solution. So when something happens, the managers are most important key people, not the workers who make mistakes. Managers are key people who solve the problem at the same time to train your people to help them to grow, develop. I don't know whether that can be the answer to your question, but I don't know whether that help you, but that's what I feel.
Thanks, Mr. Yoshino-san. Are there any questions from the audience?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, gentlemen, and
Hi.
good evening, Yoshino-san.
Yes,
I am
thank you.
Asita Tilakaratna, State Group Manager, VO State. I'm working under Kalanimari Plantations. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude to our Managing Director, Dr. Roshan Raj Dore, and CEO Mr. Anravira Kon, and Director Plantation, Mr. Udar Prematilaka, and also General Manager HR Mr. Anuruddha Gamage to giving us this great opportunity. And Yoshino-san, it is so much of great pleasure and honor to join your lecture again as we join Haley's Plantations visit to Japan by AOTS in 2019. I would like to ask from you,
Sure.
when we setting the goals to our subordinates, sometimes we have to motivate them to accomplish that task. My question is, what are the motivational methods, activities you all practicing to motivate your subordinates, Toyota factory in Japan?
I see. Well, actually, within Toyota, when you assign the task, assign the target to your subordinates, many companies, okay, bosses tell the subordinate, okay, this is the target you have to attain this year. This is January, okay, it takes 1 year for you to assign. I will assign you, this is the target you want to attain. Bring it back at the end of this year, the results. And if your boss does not check in a certain timing in March and June and November, every 3 months, you do not check anything, and maybe around November, you tell someone, okay, why don't you come here? And okay, you remember your assignment and how is the status? That's the worst thing, because if you don't talk with the guy, with the subordinate during those 10 months, 9 months, 10 months, that means you are not so interested. So you just tell them the target and just did not provide any help. That's the worst case. But within Toyota, when boss assigned them at least each month, you just check the status. You assign them, then January, for example, you just tell end of January, end of maybe February, and you call me, okay, hey, you guys, I assigned you this task. What do you think? You just step forward this 1 month or maybe 45 days. How is the status? Do you think it's possible, or do you think you run into some problem? You have to check at a certain timing whether they are happy or they are struggling or not. So boss's most important thing is to check at certain timing whether they are happy with that task or not. And so the worst case is you don't care about just waiting for the result. But good boss is that you have to check whether they are happy with doing that. If they need some help, you can provide some help. So you have to be on the same level, even though position-wise you're higher, but from the attaining the goal, you have to help them out, because that target is your target. That also sometimes is your subordinate's target as well. So if they cannot attain the goal, then that means you don't attain the goal yourself either. So in other words, you have to always be closer to your people and check them in a certain timing, provide some help. So that is what we do at Toyota. That is why even and sometimes the bosses at the beginning, sometimes, of course, it's not easy because if it's total new target, then you subordinates start working, then they don't know how to start it. First 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and they're struggling. So maybe 1 month later, then actually they start working. That happens all the time. Don't blame them for the slower pace. And so just you have to talk with them and say it with them, and then tell them and ask them, okay, you actually a little bit slow. I understand that. What are the things I can help you out? What are the things you want me to do? And discussion should take place. So caring about the people is not that being too nice, but caring about them is to offer help, to tell them that you're ready to help them out. So it's so important. And so at a certain timing, earlier timing, you check with them, then easier for your subordinate to bring bad news. And in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, they cannot find it, then they don't want to bring it bad news. And after 6 months or 9 months, because boss will be very, very mad at me. So that is, attitude. Sometimes, one of the reasons why they make they don't follow or they cannot attain the goal is maybe 20%, 30% is the boss's failure, boss's attitude, to help them out is missing. I don't know whether I can answer your question, but a very good question.
Thank you very much, Yoshino-san.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Asita. And are there any questions? We can give another 1 or 2 opportunities.
Good evening, Yoshino-san.
Hi.
And thank you very much. Actually, very happy to listen to you again. Hello.
Yeah, go ahead,
Okay,
Rajita.
okay,
Yeah, go ahead, Rajita.
okay.
You can ask question. Yes, you can ask.
In 2019, I have listened to your lectures in AOTS Osaka, and I'm happy to hear you again. And actually, after that trip, I've also changed in my mind, and even my attitudes was changed after that Osaka AOTS training. What I want to ask from you this now you told even to Dulshankar's question. Now even when somebody, our team member, always when we are doing a mistake means it's a failure. From what we have to do, we have to support them, and we have to get their opinion, and we have to speak to them and try to make them correct. Then if that means after 3 months time, after 6 months time, after 9 months time, if we continuously failing, and even still we are speaking to them, and we are trying to motivate them, and we are trying to correct them, and always we support them. But if we continuously fail continuously, are we going to take action against him, or are we going to what we can do for him? That means if we continuously fail, that means whoever what we can see another side.
I guess that could happen everywhere. And so, but if you first 3 months they tried, for example, they cannot make it, but 6 months again they failed. Another 6 months, even start January and then September, they still keep failing. Then there must be something wrong with the process, probably. And at the same time, it's, as I mentioned, you have to, as a big boss, you have to check with them whether everything is okay 1 month, 2 months, or regularly. But during the time, not only focusing on the result, but always you need to focus on the process to attain the goal. And in many cases, if the process is good, appropriate, then you will see the good result, even though it's not a huge result, but you can see the good sign of getting a good result. So focusing on the process. Then in order to make it happen, you have to sit down and don't get emotional. You have to sit down. Okay, you have to analyze why you cannot attain the goal, and analyze all possible reasons that come to your mind. And if you're a boss and you have your subordinate working every single day, they have more information than you do. So that is the chance that you sit down and listen to them. Can you give me all the possible cause of the problem and put it down on the blackboard and put it down, then make them open up all the thinking and everything. And you have to be patient. So your role is always to encourage them to come up with all the facts and then discuss. And so, if they keep failing, there must be some very, very basic process, wrong process or something. And so in order to prevent from happening so repeatedly, then certain timing you have to check. That's why I keep saying that every month, each month, you can get together very quickly and short check. I mean, check means short, review each month. Sometimes it checks on the 10 minutes or 15, or maybe weekly 10 minutes, but it's monthly, maybe 30 minutes or 1 hour. And frequent, check. And also same time, again, if you receive the same bad news, then you have to dig down and you have to you have to make yourself involved on a problem solving, analyzing all the cause problem. So instead of just waiting for you to come back with a better process, better result, you have to bring yourself because you have more experience, so you have a different viewpoint from a different angle, and help them out. If you need more help from other people or the expert of the problem solving, you can bring it to the team. So that is your role. And so, frequent check, frequent review would greatly help you to find out cause of the problem. And if they are patient to do that, that's a good sign because they trust you. If they just try to hide it, then it's their problem. At the same time, it's your problem as well because they feel like let's hide this from my boss, and so that's no good. So I'm not saying that who is responsible, but it doesn't matter. Blaming somebody does not bring anything. The problem is, the big problem is to find somebody to blame. But you have very important thing is you have to spend a lot of energy to find the cause of the problem. So when something terrible happens among your subordinates, your key role is to listen to them and make them feel happy to bring bad news. If they bring bad news, that will be the beginning, starting point of your solution. Maybe, as you mentioned, each 3 months they keep failing. They must hide something or they don't notice that. So in order to make them notice that, you have to bring yourself. If they are hiding, then you have to tell them, no need to hide because I'm ready to listen to you, either way. So again, in this situation, boss's attitude is so important.
Thank you, Yoshino-san. Thank you, Rajita, for that question. We can give one. Yeah, we can give one more.
Thank you very much.
I'm Buddhika from Anfield Estate.
Yeah, Buddhika, you can ask your question. Yes.
Yes, in estates, we have three departments as example: office, factory, and field. And office and factory in-house process, and it's very easy to define them and control them. And in the field, it's very difficult to define them because we have different education levels, climatic conditions as a challenge, and most physical involvement is there. Do you have any idea or can you advise us how to deal with them to improve their productivity by minimizing communication gap?
Right. Well, you talk about communication. That's so important. And communication is not the boss telling them what to do, but because the people working for you, they are doing the job. They are the people who make some mistakes, but there must be something. So communication is, when you communicate, say communication is that always you are ready to listen to them and make them talk. So there is no good solution, no perfect solution, but most important thing that you have to make an atmosphere where people can open up, can talk about anything. And of course, when something happens, people just don't want to share the bad news with anybody, and they don't want to be blamed, of course. So they want to hide some key things, but that is the worst case. So you have to, as a big boss, most important job is to create the very easy, it's very comfortable ambience with your people, and let them think that tell them that this is very important meeting, because I'm here. I really would like to help you out to solve the problem, and tell them that you are ready. And also, if it's a serious problem, it's a problem is serious. And also, maybe the cause of the problem is more serious than you think. Then sometimes, sometimes boss needs to tell them, okay, looks like this is very serious problem. We cannot solve the problem by ourselves. Maybe we can ask somebody else, some experts from other departments who are outside, consultant, not consultant, but sometimes, advisor, bring them in and create some team, and then bring them from outside or from other department, and we call it a project team to solve the problem. That is one of the things. So make them, your people, feel comfortable to solve the problem. And because they are working on the job, they made the mistakes. They know much better than anybody else. So they have all the facts. But if you're pushing them too hard, then they try to hide it. So make them feel to open up. So to make it happen, you have to make them feel comfortable to solve the problem. You have to make them feel, oh, my boss is not going to blame us. He wants to solve the problem. Doesn't matter where it was we made, but it doesn't matter because he wants to solve the problem. That's why he's suggesting to create some small project team with other people coming in and join us. So that's again how to deal with people. And so what the higher you go, you have more broader network. So you can talk to other people who have some expertise in the problem solving. Then one thing is they can ask them, why don't you guys come to our department for a couple of weeks and then create a project team, and why don't you help my people out to solve the problem? And that is what you can do as a big boss. But workers cannot do that because they don't have any connections. So again, to answer your question, don't start with blaming, but start finding the problem. If they cannot find the problem themselves, if you can find it, then you tell them. But if you cannot find it either, then you can find somebody who can find issues. So that is your role to do. And that is what's happening within Toyota. And so again, people, the people working for you will find out, oh, my boss is trying to form a project team from other people. That means he's not trying to blame us. He's trying to find a solution. So that makes them feel comfortable. So that's so important. Again, people are working, you have authority, and your people don't have authority. So so they are afraid of being fired, so you have to understand that. And of course you do. So, manager's role is take advantage of your broader human network and bring in whatever help you can get, which your subordinate cannot get. I don't know whether it makes sense to you, but that's what I experienced when I was in the plant.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Yoshino-san, and thank you, Buddhi, for that question. I think that brings me to end up this today's session. I think we have invested 90 minutes, over 100 participants from plantations, Hills Plantations management team. I think Yoshino-san, the key factors what you elaborated today in today's learning is that Toyota is being the most successful automobile manufacturer, one of the most successful company in the world, and they are practicing various key factors that you elaborated as per Toyota way of management. But most important thing is place to place, the organization to organization, that these practices or the factors, success factors may change depend on the organizational culture, the behavior, the structure, all these matters. So most important thing from your lecture today is that you can pick and choose the best applicable factors into your organization and practice it up to the best of your ability. Then I think for that, the strong and transparent leadership that values all stakeholders at every level at your business is most important. So I think that is the key important take-home message from today's session. And I think more than anything that our team is really fortunate enough to listen to you, Yoshino-san. And as I mentioned, I think it's the first time that you are addressing directly addressing a team from a Sri Lankan company management team, and I think the first time in the South Asian region. So I think we are really happy, and out of these participants, there are a lot of AOTS ex-trainees. They have listened to your lectures, and so we are really honored. We would like to convey our gratitude and honor to you. As we have spent about nearly 90 minutes with us today. So we are really fortunate, and on behalf of our Managing Director, Dr. Roshan Razore, and our Director CEOs of 3 plantation companies and entire team of Hills Plantations, this is a historical event today for Hills Plantations. So we would like to thank you very much once again, and yeah, hope to see you physically when it comes.
I hope so too.
With the green light, so times to come. So we will like to make that possible in future. And of course, the distance from Japan to Sri Lanka, we have bring it down to no time because of the online platforms. But may I present you a small token of appreciation from us. This is one of our best garden fresh teas, where we will definitely dispatch to you to Japan. That is to convey our gratitude to you, Yoshino-san.
Thank you very much. And
okay,
if your people have any questions, any comment, just send it to you, Anaruda, and you send it to me. Then I will be happy to answer. And that is so important. It's a follow-up, so important. I would like to know more about the problem you are facing, because one of the most successful company in your country. So I would like to help you to bring you up to the much higher level. And so I will be very happy to do that.
Yeah, actually there are a few questions I received to our chat box, so I will forward those questions to you, Yoshino-san.
Okay,
so once
great.
you answer, I can send it back to the group and the people who have raised the question. Okay,
great.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much, Yoshino-san. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
And
thank you very much.
I would like to thank all of you all spending your valuable time, this working time, and valuable time into this learning session. And we would like to see you with another session in month of January, early January. So till that, thank you very much and have a nice day.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.